If it's happening in the NBA, you know I got you covered. Make sure you subscribe on all platforms and leave that 5-star review. Let's get it.
You'd be coming off the bench playing with the second unit that's a lot younger than the Warriors of the past have been with JK and Moses. Just what do you think of their depth, their bench players that you might be playing alongside?
You coaching?
Talk about it!
You are now tuned in to Above the Rim. Hoops talk for the streets.
Family, what's good? Welcome back to another edition of Above the Rim. Hoops talk for the streets. You already know how we do, family. Brought to you as always. It's your host, Justin, aka JusBlaze. Family, you know the drill to get in contact with me. You can always hit me up and follow me on Twitter or X at JusBlaze_513, on IG at JusBlaze513, on Facebook and YouTube. Search Above the Rim Podcast. Also email the show as well, Above the Rim NBA Podcast at gmail.com. Tap in to lead the family a voicemail. The line is always open, 908-718-1592. Family, best way to support the show is by copying your merch. I appreciate it, of course. Anything and everything is appreciated. Link is in my bio. Very easy to find. Support the show. Support the brand. Support the quality work. I appreciate it, family, of course. Make sure you leave your boy a review on iTunes, on Spotify. If you rock with the show, if you're watching on YouTube, hit that thumbs up. Make sure you do that. Please, I appreciate it, family. Hit that thumbs up. Subscribe, like, show some love, comment, tell me your thoughts. I want to hear from you as well. What you think about my FLEA agency grades for the East and the West. Let me know your FLEA agency grades as well. Tell me who you think won the offseason, who you think lost the offseason, which teams you think will be better in this upcoming season. FLEA agency time, like I said before, part 2. Talking the Western Conference right now. Giving out my grades for each team for their offseason. Let's start off with the defending champs. Denver Nuggets. Justin Holiday agreed to a 1-year deal with them. Reggie Jackson returns on a 2-year deal. DeAndre Jordan returns on a multi-year deal. Main loss for them. Bruce Brown going over there to the Indiana Pacers. My FLEA agency grade for the Denver Nuggets, C-. I'm giving these boys a C-. I really don't. It's not about that I didn't like what they did. I didn't like that they couldn't retain Bruce Brown. I think Bruce Brown is very, very important for this team. I think it's being undersold how important he was to this team. Losing Bruce Brown highlights the offseason for me for the Denver Nuggets, and not in a good way. He was an integral part of that championship run. His versatility, I think, will be missed. He's an excellent glue guy in the league. The game plan clearly is to elevate rising sophomore Christian Brown and give fellow first rounder, Peyton Watson, a longer look also. But I don't know if those guys are really ready to take full-time duties as Bruce Brown, because remember, Bruce Brown, he was coming off the bench and playing some backup one. So he was doing a good job for the Denver Nuggets in the season. In the season and in the postseason. So Bruce Brown, I think it's a major loss, and I feel like it's being understated by the Denver Nuggets. I know everyone has them really high on their rankings because they just won the title, but they never looked unbeatable to me in their playoff run. Never unbeatable. They were great. They were one of the best teams in the league, clearly, beating every team in their way. But they didn't look unbeatable. I think they were just some strategic adjustments that a lot of teams didn't make. So we'll see how they do. Houston Rockets. Moving on to them, right? They had an aggressive offseason. Dylan Brooks agreed to a 4-year deal, $80 million deal. People were hating on him about that. I don't want to hear the haters. He earned his money. Jeff Green agreed to a 1-year deal. Aaron Holiday agreed to a 1-year deal. Jock Landale agreed to, I don't know if it was a 3 or 4-year deal. Fred VanVleet also agreed to a 3-year deal, which was their big move of the summer. My FLEA agency grade for the Houston Rockets, I'm going to give these boys an A. I'm going to give them an A for being aggressive. These boys are getting an A for aggressiveness, right? Okay, I love all of their signings they did. I actually love everything they did this offseason. They took a 3-year, $128 million max contract to bring in Fred VanVleet. The 29-year-old brings a level of maturity and competence that the Houston Rockets did not have. They finished 27th or worse in defensive efficiency 3 years running, so they desperately needed an upgrade on defense. Number 4 draft pick Amen Thompson should drastically improve Houston's point of attack defense. Cam Whitmore is a promising young rookie who I think is going to do well. Jeff Green gives them another veteran defensive presence that they can use. Fred VanVleet, I love what he's bringing to the table. They're bringing somebody in who's really going to help them control the unit, control both units, really somebody who can be a sure thing. He's going to be great for Jalen Green. I think Dylan Brooks is also going to provide a lot of veteran leadership, really providing some more defense for that team. He's one of those dogs in the league who's not afraid to guard anybody and really instill a lot of confidence. We know Dylan Brooks does well with young teams. We saw he was probably, if I'm going to be honest, I think Dylan Brooks was the most influential dude on the Memphis Grizzlies, other than maybe Ja Morant. But I'm not going to lie, I think it was Dylan Brooks. I think he really influenced that team a lot with his pregame dances, all of that stuff, just the mentality that the Memphis Grizzlies gave off. I think a lot of that was Dylan Brooks. So he's bringing a lot of that to the Houston Rockets. And I think that's the real reason why he's gotten paid, for his impact in the locker room, impact off the court, not necessarily off the court and what necessarily he can produce, right? So, but I think their biggest acquisition for the Houston Rockets was in the coaching department. I think it was in the coaching department. I think Ime Udoka will be in the Coach of the Year running next year, if I'm going to be honest. I think he's going to be top 3 candidate for Coach of the Year next year. I think he's going to instill a winning culture in Houston, accountability, player professionalism, and the desire to play for something bigger than yourself. I think that's something that Ime Udoka is going to bring to the team. The best teams in the league have 2 things, in my opinion: no personal agendas and clear, defined roles. I think that's something that Ime is going to come to this young Rockets team and give them clear, defined roles and let them know, this is what I need from you. This is what you need to do. You need to tell me if you can do that. If you can't, then maybe we need to figure out a better spot for you. But I think he's going to provide a lot of accountability for that Houston Rockets team. Also looking for a big season out of Jalen Green. I think he's going to be a lot better next year. I think he's been in the gym working hard. We see him playing it real close to Ime all summer league. He's been attached at the hip to Udoka. So we'll see if he's really been listening to him all summer and really becomes a great scorer, becomes more of a great scorer this year. Because I think he can be definitely top 10 scoring. I think he could be top 10, top 5 scorer in the league if he really applies himself. He has the major green light over there in Houston, so we'll see what he can do. I'm looking forward to watching him next season. And the Rockets are now a team on League Pass watch. People are going to really have to tune into the Houston Rockets. They're going to be a solid young team. Maybe making a leap the way the OKC Thunder did last year. Maybe a leap like that. We'll see. Or the Sacramento Kings. Maybe not that much, but something similar. Golden State Warriors. Let's talk about these brothers right here, right? So, Draymond Green returned on a 4-year deal. Corey Joseph agreed to a 1-year deal. Dario Saric agreed to a 1-year deal. Chris Paul joins the Golden State Warriors. I can't believe I'm saying that out loud once again. Chris Paul joins the Golden State Warriors via trade. My free agency grade for the Golden State Warriors, I'm giving them an A-. I'm giving these boys an A-, right? This coming season will be the 11th year with Steph Curry, Draymond Green, and Klay Thompson, all 3 of them together, with Green signing that 4-year deal. A long time for that core to be together, one of the most successful cores in the NBA has ever seen. Adding Chris Paul to that, I think it's going to be dynamite. Y'all heard it in my last episode before. I had to give a separate episode of that because it was too crazy, but I'm going to talk about it again, right? So I said it before in my last episode. I think Klay Thompson is in for one of the best seasons of his career, in my opinion. I think he's going to be asked to do a lot less, right? He's probably the most expensive 3-and-D wing in the league right now. He only took 21% of his shots, which was the lowest rate of his career, in the paint last year, and will turn 34 in February. But he did shoot for over 41% from 3-point range, top 3 in the league, but he didn't take any shots at the rim. That's why he needs someone to really set him up. And that's why I think it's going to be one of the better seasons of his career, because he doesn't even have to worry about doing anything else. Come off those screens the same way you've been doing. Handle the ball. I mean, he wasn't even handling the ball last year a lot, but he was jacking up a lot of wild shots in the playoffs, as we saw, because it wasn't as easy to get him the ball as it once was, because Steph Curry had to do a lot of scoring on his own. He had to do a lot of scoring, a lot of pick and roll. It wasn't his duty to really worry about Klay and really help set up Klay. That's where Chris Paul comes in. Chris Paul will hit Klay in those corners for a lot of those open looks. And I think Klay is going to have to work way less to get those open looks. And I know Chris Paul hate is real trendy right now. It's real trendy on Twitter, whatever it is. But who cares what you think? It's my show. I'm giving Chris Paul love on this show. This is my show, okay? So he's one of the best point guards in NBA history. Top 3 all time in assists and steals. Don't play yourself. He's going to fit in well with the Golden State Warriors. Chris Paul can adjust to anybody. Okay? We've seen him do it time and time again. They need exactly what Chris Paul brings to the table. Chris Paul's usage rate last year was the lowest of his career, and he has no problem giving up the rock. It won't be any issue playing over here at Golden State. He led the league with 5 games of 0 turnovers and at least 10 assists last year. Led the league at his 38 years of age, right? Always one of the best guys in the league and taking care of the ball. We know that. One of his strong suits. Less turnovers, more assists. We know the deal. As far as his 3-point shooting goes, we know he's going to spend more time off the ball this upcoming season, right? But that won't be a problem. Let me tell you why. Chris Paul shot 52% on catch and shoot 3-pointers last year. The second best mark among 282 players with at least 75 catch and shoot threes. But one thing he does have to improve on is pull-up threes. If he even does have to take those pull-up threes. He might have to take them from time to time, but he does need to improve on them. Last year, he was just 30% on pull-up threes, so he's got to improve there. But the 52% on catch and shoot 3-pointers is going to pay dividends for the Golden State Warriors. We know he's going to get more open looks than he's ever had before. And their motion offense, where everybody running around their offense, really trying to get open, Chris Paul is going to have to do some of that coming into the next season too. He's going to have to adjust. He can't be walking the ball up all the time, which he normally does. He's not going to be. I don't think he's going to do that. I don't think he will do that. I think he may do that with the second unit, but with that first unit with Steph, Draymond, Clay, Wiggins, and those boys, he's not going to be walking the ball up the court. He can't do that. And he won't do that. I feel like it's going to be a really good season for Chris Paul also as well. It's going to work well because the Golden State Warriors offense, it lacked variety. Steph Curry said it himself. We lack variety. They lack variety. Running 2 different elite offenses can only be a plus for the Warriors. It's going to be very difficult to game plan for the Golden State Warriors, especially on offense. Staggering those stars in both units will be the key. They're all interchangeable pieces. And I tell you right now, Chris Paul is starting. I don't think he's coming off the bench. I know a lot of y'all like to argue with me about him coming off the bench. I think he's starting. I think he will be starting. Whatever. I don't care. I think he's starting. We'll see when Steve Kerr gives what the lineups will be, but we'll see. Dario Saric also was a very underrated pickup for the Golden State Warriors as well. A nice big who can really dribble, pass, and shoot. He can really pass from the high post, pass from the low post. He can hit some 3-pointers also as well. He's just a smart player. And what Golden State Warriors needed this season was more smarter players. And that's what they got. Moving on. We got to talk about the Phoenix Suns. Got to talk about these boys right here. I did these 2 teams back-to-back for a reason, all right? You know the deal. You know why. You know what it is. Bradley Beal to the Phoenix Suns. Isaiah Todd. Who else they got? Bol agreed to a 1-year deal. Keita Bates-Diop, 2-year deal. Drew Eubanks, 2-year deal. Eric Gordon agrees to a 1-year deal. Damian Lee returning. Metu from the Kings agreeing to a 1-year deal. Okoye agreeing to another deal. Yuta the Shooter agreeing to a 1-year deal. Frank Vogel is now the coach. Out is Monty Williams. My free agency grade for the Phoenix Suns, I'm going to give them an A-. I'm going to give these boys an A- too. Listen, the Suns committed to a complete overhaul of their roster this summer. Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, DeAndre Ayton, who will combine to make $162 this season between those 4 players. They have a lot of work to do to make the roster feel complete because it's a major overhaul of a roster, right? Those 4 will be at the center of it all. And 2 must be on the court at all times, in my opinion. They went out and they landed a bunch of legit role players, the best that they can with their minimum salaries that they had to really give out. And I actually think they did a great job with really filling out that roster with minimum pieces. To the shooters, I said before, one of the best corner 3-point shooters in the league. I think he shot 44% from 3 in Brooklyn last year, corner threes. Bates-Diop, I think shot 39 or something percent from that from 3. He adds a lot of length, defensive versatility, corner shooting. Center Drew Eubanks brings some athleticism at the center spot. Picking up Bol, which I really liked, was a very underrated pickup. Listen, once Greg Popovich shows the blueprint on how to use Victor Wembanyama, his skill set, Bol will become the hottest trade chip in the league. He will. Unless The Phoenix Suns also don't know how to use him. They need to be paying attention. They need a scout to go to every single San Antonio Spurs game and see what Greg Popovich does with Webby and use the same thing on Bobo. Because Bobo will be the secret weapon for the Phoenix Suns in this upcoming season. If they utilize him right, if he's given a proper minutes, if he can learn from Kevin Durant, DeAndre Ayton, Devin Booker, and all those guys on how to be more of a professional, because he has all the tools to succeed, and he just needs to be put in the right position to succeed. And he's been getting a bad rap for no reason. So I'm really excited for that Bobo pickup. I think it's very underrated, and it's slept on too. I love Eric Gordon pickup also as well. The Suns been trying to get Eric Gordon for a minute now. Even when Chris Paul was there, they never got him, but now they did. He's going to provide another shooter, another guy who can handle the rock, playing at the 2-3 position. He played really well in the playoffs last year. Beal, averaging 27 and 5. Booker averaging 26 and 5. Durant averaged 27 and 5. Are 3 of the 11 players who average at least 25 and 5 assists over the past 5 seasons. So that's a really very, very solid and very offensive dominating trio. All 3 of those guys can create their shot, but I just think the Suns lost a little bit of playmaking by trading Chris Paul for Bradley Beal, who will need to defend much better than he has in recent years. But if Bradley Beal can stay healthy, if he can still perform at that level as a third option, it's going to be really good for these guys. I can't lie. So I remember though, it's not easy to transition from a number 1 option to a number 3 option that fast. So there's going to be an adjustment period for Bradley Beal. So we'll see how he does adjust. And I'm looking forward to, one of the things I'm looking forward to watching in this Phoenix Suns offense is a Book's transition to playing on the ball a lot more. That's always one of the areas that I felt that he can improve on in this upcoming season. Even though his handle is tight, he could get a bucket on anyone at any moment. There are times that he would struggle making a play from others in very crucial moments, especially if it didn't involve him scoring. So I'm looking forward to see his adjustment when handling the ball a lot more. And look at it last year. How many pick and rolls did we see Devin Booker run last year? Not a lot, but he was a primary ball handler. A lot. So I'm looking for that to increase in this upcoming season. Let's see how he handles that with a lot more playmaking duties, because Chris Paul was setting him up a lot last year. Don't forget, he was setting him up, Kevin Durant up, DeAndre Ayton. He was getting spoon-fed. I'm about to talk about him. But it is worth noting that Devin Booker did average over 7 assists in the playoffs. So he does have some experience being the primary playmaker, and as he did in last year's playoffs against the Denver Nuggets. So we're going to see how he can increase that going forward, because he's going to have to, because clearly they're playing with no point guard in this unit, and clearly they think it's okay. So we'll see. Talking about Ayton really fast, I brought him up. 2 years ago, Ayton was essential to the Phoenix Suns' run to the finals. Outplayed Anthony Davis, Zubac, Jokic. He played really well until he got out-muscled by Giannis. But he embraced the defensive anchor role a lot in that finals run, and he took 66% of his shots at the rim at that time. In the last 2 years, DeAndre Ayton's attempts at the rim have plummeted by over 20%. His fascination with the floater has turned into a damn near obsession with that floater. He keeps shooting that floater all the time. He won't be able to get those same easy looks in this upcoming season because Chris Paul, was spoon-feeding him last year. He's not going to be spoon-fed this year, so he's going to have to try to make some of those shots on his own. So that's also a transition that DeAndre Ayton has to go to. He hasn't shown the creativity or the aggression thus far to be shown that he can be a go-to scorer in Phoenix, but he hasn't really got the reps either. So we'll see if we can do that. His mindset is the key to the Suns season. DeAndre Ayton's mindset is the key to the Suns season, in my opinion. Can he turn into a big who takes care of the dirty work night after night on a consistent basis? We'll see. But if he can't accept that role, the Suns are going to have to look elsewhere if he cannot accept the role. And I know they tried to trade him before this summer. He didn't get traded, so we'll see how he is. I know he said he feels like everybody hates him. The fans hate him. So he's going to have to get over that mental hurdle, that mental aspect, and we'll see. But if I had to critique the Phoenix Suns in a little bit really quick, it might be I want to see what the balance is in this offense. They may have a lack of balance in this offense because Bradley Beal Devin Booker and Kevin Durant, they all do a lot of the same things well. They do a lot of the same things well, so there's not enough balance in the offense, but it's an overwhelmingly great offense, so that might not be a problem. I just want to see how much isolation ball they will play in this upcoming season. This might be a lot of that. And also, it's going to be heavy minutes on their stars. That core four, they're going to have to play a lot of minutes. So if they sustain an injury, they won't have as much success, but hopefully they can keep those guys healthy. And I just want to see the roles on their team. They got to have some clear roles. Frank Vogel got to really set the clear roles on that team to see where everybody fits in. Suns, going to see how they rock out. One of the most talented teams in the league. We'll see how they do. My apologies. Moving on, LA Clippers. Let's talk about these guys right here. Kenny Martin Jr. joins via trade with the Rockets. Mason Plumlee returns on a 1-year deal. Russell Westbrook returns on a 2-year deal. My free agency grade for them is a B-. The Clippers took a run it back type of approach. The Clippers made a huge splash when they added both Paul George and Kawhi Leonard in the summer of 2019. But in the 4 years since then, those two stars have played in only 41% of their games. Less than half. They played in only 142 games out of a possible 347 games. That's including 38 games over the last 2 seasons that are just in the playoffs, right? So they haven't even played in 50% of their games since they've gotten those guys. So they need to show. Actually, I saw Tyronn Lue. I don't know who he was interviewing with, but he said they have to take the regular season a lot more seriously this year. That's going to be a major thing for the LA Clippers going forward. They've got to take the regular season more seriously. Low management was out of control last year, and I think they're going to have to get better with that. So we'll see. Moving on, the Los Angeles Lakers. They also had a very busy offseason, right? Hachimura returns on a 3-year deal. Jackson Hayes agrees to a 2-year deal. Taurean Prince, 1-year deal. Austin Reeves agreed to a 4-year deal. Cam Reddish agrees to a 2-year deal. D'Angelo Russell returns on a 2-year deal. Gabe Vincent agrees to a 3-year deal. My free agency grade for the LA Lakers, I'm giving them an A. I like what the LA Lakers did this offseason. They did a lot of things really well. They went with fit over name. And that's what was important for the LA Lakers. Over the last 4 years, they've had over 66 different players playing for the Lakers. That's the second most in the league since in that time. Way too much turnover for that LA Lakers roster. We know why. Because we know how LeBron James does. He always wants to get rid of his team whenever they don't perform up to his expectations or his standards. He always does that. So that's why the Lakers have been going through so much turnover. Last year to this year, they're gonna have a little continuity going into next year, right? As of things stand now, 6 new guys coming in. 4 vets, 2 rookies. We're going to see how they do. Hachimura played excellent in the playoffs for them. D'Angelo Russell was a no-show in the playoffs. I don't know why people are so high on him. I don't understand. I was never a big guy on him. Austin Reeves comes back, is going to get some valuable experience on that Team USA. Big pickup, Gabe Vincent, in my opinion. Quality complementary shooter and a defender who also plays well off the ball. He's going to play well off LeBron James and off of Anthony Davis. Taurean Prince, I think, is a nice pickup for them. Bet minimums with Cam Reddish and Jackson Hayes. I think they're going to do well. They should have enough wing depth going into this season. Max Christie looked pretty well in Summer League. My ideal pickup, I wish they would have gotten a better point guard instead of D'Angelo Russell, but getting Gabe Vincent in there, that'll be a solid 2-man attack. I would have personally loved a Van Vliet or a Kyrie or something like that, but clearly that would have been too difficult to pull off. So we'll see how the Lakers do with these new additions. I love the Gabe Vincent pickup for them, as I keep saying for them. I think he's going to be great. And by the way, LeBron hinting at retirement and all that stuff, taken away from the fact that he got swept, was ridiculous. I didn't even get a chance to say that. I thought that was ridiculous. But bro, let's be real. You got smoked. You got swept. Take the L. Don't say you're going to be retired, because nobody thought you was retiring. And the Lakers, as always, LeBron and they go as far as LeBron and AD will take them every single year. So I'm glad that they went with fit over name for this postseason, and I hope that it pays dividends for the LA Lakers. Moving on to the Memphis Grizzlies. Desmond Bane agreed to a 5-year extension. Derrick Rose agreed to a multi-year deal. Marcus Smart joins the team via trade. My free agency grade for the Grizzlies, I'm giving them an A-. Love what the Grizzlies did. I love the Marcus Smart pickup for them. Memphis needed a new number one perimeter defender and a fifth starter. They really had to change up the nucleus of that team after such a disappointing year after all the stuff that was going on. They needed someone who could also steer the ship during Ja Morant's 25-game suspension and slot in alongside him when he returns. Had to get a respected veteran. Got a former defensive player of the year. Marcus Smart gets in where he fits in on offense. Plenty of experience playing with high usage players. Decorated veteran. 4 conference finals, NBA finals under his belt. He can bring some much needed experience there for the Memphis Grizzlies. If he can help out with the energy around the team, I think that's a win. But the team is still missing some size on the wing, I think, with letting go of Dylan Brooks. I know maybe they're looking to upgrade Zaire Smith, who knows, but I think they still need one more wing because the 3 best perimeter players in the league, the 3 best perimeter players on the team are 6'2", 6'4", and 6'5". Ja Morant, Marcus Smart, Desmond Bane. Desmond Bane can't really be playing small forward. Marcus Smart shouldn't really be playing small forward full time. So who are they going to slot in there? Who knows? They're going to see. So they got some work to do there. They also need to get better on their 3-point shooting. They were bottom 10 in the league in 3-point percentage last year. So that's something that they need to work on, the Memphis Grizzlies. That's what they're going to need to take their next step. Moving on, talk about the San Antonio Spurs. They added Campaign, Reggie Bullock, Jetty Osman, Lamar Stevens via trade with the Cavs and Heat. And they got the biggest offseason addition of all, drafting Victor Wembanyama, right? Let's talk about his summer league real quick here. I think he played pretty well. You know, I think his first game, there were a lot of jitters. A lot of people were hating on him for the first game because he didn't, put up monstrous numbers. But I never expected monstrous numbers from Wemby in the summer league. It's summer league. You just try not to get hurt. Just want to showcase your talents, but don't get hurt is the key. And he accomplished that. So I think the summer league was a success. I think he didn't play so well in the first game, but he rebounded in the second game and played very well. He kept saying that but he said that he wanted to use a sky hook. I'm really interested to see what that's going to look like. I would love to see somebody else bringing back the sky hook, bringing his Kareem on. I hope he's been watching some tapes. He said, quote, "I've been working a little bit on my sky hook and hopefully one day it can be a weapon to add." So maybe he's been watching some Kareem Abdul-Jabbar tapes. We'll see if it even works out. I would be excited to see him take a sky hook and it actually goes in because he has the tools to do it. Long, lanky, same body type. He could do it. One thing I noticed about Wemby, I think he plays offense and defense on the perimeter a little bit too much. But I don't know what position fully that the San Antonio Spurs are going to use him at. They're listing him as a forward, not as a center or forward center. So that means he's primarily going to be playing the 4, maybe even play some 3, who knows, which means he may be defending some small forwards. I don't know how his perimeter defense is going to hold up there. We obviously know he could block some shots. He was one of the best shot blockers in the summer league. He's going to be one of the best shot blockers in the league going forward. We'll see how his foot speed is, though, if he's guarding a lot of guys on the perimeter, because we know the NBA is a perimeter-oriented league, so he's going to be guarding a lot of guys off the dribble, one-on-one, isolation on the island. Let's see how he does there. One thing I would suggest for Wemby is I was watching him in the summer league. I think he can get an extra 5 to 10 points a night by deep sealing early in the shot clock, early in the possessions, by beating his man down the floor, deep sealing early in the post to get that initial look. I think that will increase his point production for about 5 to 10 points. And listen, I like what I saw from him. In the summer league. I think his offense will be fine, but I'm just watching for who he will be guarding. Will it be 3s? Will it be 4s? Or will it be 5s? We'll see. But I like what I saw from Victor Wembanyama. There's no hate from me at all. I think he's going to be excellent. Moving on to the Dallas Mavericks. They re-signed Kyrie, added Grant Williams, added Seth Curry, added Dante Exum, added Rashawn Holmes from the Kings. Dwight Powell returned also as well. Solid off season for them. My FLEA agency grade for the Dallas Mavericks, I'm going to give these boys a B. Because I like what they did. They retained a lot of their core. A lot of people thought Kyrie Irving was leaving, to be honest. I did early in the summer, but I'm glad they brought him back. They committed to Kyrie Irving, bringing in Grant Williams, Shiggy Show. He's been a great player for the Boston Celtics, especially in the playoffs. He played really well. Everybody knows about his little scuffle with Jimmy Butler, whatever the case may be, when they went nose to nose, chin to chin, cheek to cheek. But I think he's going to add a lot of toughness for the Dallas Mavericks because that's what they needed. They needed some toughness in there, and Grant Williams did not back down from Jimmy Butler at all. So he's going to bring some much needed toughness. Some knockdown shooting, some defensive versatility is what they lost a lot when they shipped out Dorian Finney-Smith in the Kyrie trade. And I think another year of chemistry with Kyrie and Luka, they got to figure out their chemistry going forward. Because right now, to me, it looks like they have no chemistry. I think it's just, your turn, my turn kind of often. So these two need to hang out a little bit during the off season. I know Luka is doing his FIBA stuff, so he may not have time. Kyrie is doing his own thing. I don't think he really hangs out with his teammates as much. But I think they're going to have to gain some chemistry. That's going to be the thing to me that I'm looking for with the Dallas Mavericks. Moving on with the Minnesota Timberwolves. Nickeil Alexander-Walker returns. Troy Brown agrees to a deal. Anthony Edwards agreed to a 5-year extension. Shake Milton agreed to a 2-year deal. My free agency grade for them, I'm giving these boys a C. Satisfactory. They didn't really make too many crazy moves, but I think their success will be all about the trio. Ant Davis, Rudy Gobert, Karl-Anthony Towns. Can these boys find a way to build chemistry together and, most importantly, stay healthy at the same time? None of these guys are ever healthy all at the same time. We're going to see if Ant Edwards, if this is officially the year where it's your team. I think it was kind of last year, but officially this year, this should be your team. He's in the FIBA World Cup also as well, so we're going to see how he performs there. He's going to come back with a lot of confidence, and I think he's going to do excellent in this upcoming season. But it's not just about his numbers. It's how he makes his teammates better, how he elevates Karl-Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert. But he's got to be the catalyst, Anthony Edwards. New Orleans Pelicans, moving on to them. Herb Jones returns. Cody Zeller agreed to a 1-year deal. They didn't really do much, very quiet. My free agency grade for them, I'm giving them a C, also satisfactory. The Pelicans are banking on the health of Zion Wilson, who's had a very peculiar summer. Zion Wilson, he needs to lay low and come back next year ready to ball out. Don't say a word. They're banking on the health of Zion and Brandon Ingram as they basically stood pat this offseason. Basically stood pat, hoping those guys are going to really get back to being healthy next year. We'll see. And they really didn't do much. Adding Cody Zeller with the vet minimum to replace Jackson Hayes, that's a lateral move, but we'll see. They haven't made any other moves. When they all were healthy, they were a top 3 team in the Western Conference last year, so that's what they're banking on. Another year with CJ McCollum, so we'll see how they do. Oklahoma City Thunder, moving on to them. Davis Bertans, they added. Victor Oladipo, I didn't even realize that they added a trade from the Heat. I don't know if he will play for them. He may or may not, but he's coming back to OKC. Most importantly, my free agency grade for them, I'm giving them a C+. You know why? The main addition is getting Chet Holmgren back healthy. Their standout rookie from last year, he didn't play a game last year. He played some games in Summer League. We're going to see because him coming back, Chet Holmgren coming back is major for the Oklahoma City Thunder. Adding him to SGA and those boys, Lou Dort and those fellas. We finally get to see what he looks like. He's one of the strongest Rookie of the Year candidates. I think it's going to be between Chet Holmgren, Scoot Henderson, and Victor Wemby for the top 3 rookies this year. I think it's going to be a major battle because all 3 of them have the talent and the skills to do that. In the Summer League, he played pretty well. He averaged 16, 9, and 3.5 blocks and 2 assists in the Summer League. So Chet Holmgren, he showed he has the tools in the Summer League. Let's see if he can translate that into NBA and really playing some really good game action. I'm looking out for the OKC Thunder. Portland Trailblazers. Jeremy Grant returned on the 5-year deal. Matisse Thybulle returned on the 3-year deal. Obviously drafted Scoot. Best player in the draft, in my opinion. The best rookie in his class. My free agency grade for them is B- pending. I still don't know what's going on with this Damian Lillard trade. I'm tired of talking about it. I don't even want to say Damian Lillard's name anymore if it's not in a trade to the Miami Heat or the Brooklyn Nets or wherever the hell it is that he's going. Because it's the Damian Lillard trade watch is moving at a snail's pace. I don't know what's going on there. Who knows what's going to happen with that? What I saw from Summer League with Scoot Henderson, I love what I saw from Summer League from him. He only played in 1 game, but he had 15 points, 6 assists, 5 rebounds before his Summer League was cut short due to the shoulder injury. But he played very well. I love his moves. How he ran the point guard position in Summer League. He was scoring well with efficiency. He was getting his teammates involved. He played really well. He showed all the poise that I needed from a young guard. And I think he's going to have an excellent rookie year. And he's my choice clearly for the rookie of the year. So we'll see. Sacramento Kings, they didn't really do too much. Brought in Chris Duarte. Alex Len returned. Trey Lau returns. Nerlens Noel, they brought in on a one-year deal. Sabonis agreed to an extension. My free agency grade for them, I'm giving them a B-. They stayed pretty much intact, but they are working on accelerating their growth from last year because they played really well. They had a major leap forward, being a top 3 seed in the West. Going to a 7-game series with the Golden State Warriors. They did pretty well, so they brought back a lot of their core. I'm really looking forward to seeing what another year holds from that unit. Last but not least, the Utah Jazz. Jordan Clarkson agreed to an extension. John Collins, they brought in, obviously, in that trade from the Atlanta Hawks. Omer Yurtseven from the Heat, they brought in also as well. They got a couple of bigs, I'm noticing, for the Utah Jazz. My free agency grade for them, I'm giving them a C+. Utah is pretty much taking a patient approach right now. They're building on their solid season from last year. Adding John Collins, I think, is a solid addition for them. We're going to see how they use that roster because now it may be a little clunky with Walker Kessler, John Collins, and then Lauri Markkanen in there as well. It's going to be a very big 3-man unit that they use, 3-man front court. We'll see how that works out. It could work out well for them. They seem to all be learning really well and really playing as a team. So that's the Utah Jazz. I'm giving them a C+. Rounding out my free agency grades for the Western Conference. Family, I appreciate you, of course, for joining me once again for another episode. Make sure you hit me up on Twitter, IG, and Facebook with your NBA takes. Send in a voicemail with your thoughts, 908-718-1592. The Talk About It line is open, as you already know. Subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. Let me know your thoughts, what you think about the Western Conference, who did well, who didn't. Episode 215. And we out.